Hey everyone, this is Essay Writing Made Easy Part 2, and I'm your instructor, Hassan Gopwani. In this topic, we're going to cover the thesis and its pieces. So what is a thesis exactly? Going back to our road trip planning analogy, the thesis is the general route that you plan. This is the backbone of the entire essay. You could say it's like the blueprint to your house. If you spend a little time to make sure you get this part right, the rest of your essay should fall into place very easily. So with that being said, let's get right into what makes a thesis work. The thesis statement is basically one sentence that summarizes what your essay is trying to prove, which is why some people call the thesis the topic sentence. Simply put, the thesis is a claim about something. It is not enough to just claim something in your essay. You have to be able to prove it as well. That leads me to my next point. There are two parts to a thesis: claim and evidence. Lastly, a thesis has to be provable, yet debatable enough so that you can have a discussion about it. Otherwise, either you won't be able to prove your points, or you won't have enough material to facilitate writing your essay. Now you're probably wondering why I have a gigantic glass of chocolate milk on this slide, so I'll just get right on to it. We're going to use chocolate milk to make a thesis. So everything I said in the last slide is all nice and dandy, but without an example, it's just theory. So here's my example thesis. Chocolate milk is the best drink ever because it has chocolate in it, it has milk in it, and it is easy to make. So the first part of this statement is the claim. Chocolate milk is the best drink ever. It's provable. You can convince someone to believe it. But at the same time, it's still debatable. It may not fly for everybody. The second part of the statement is the evidence. Because it has chocolate in it, and it has milk in it, and it's very easy to make. These three statements can be used to form their own evidences to support the claim. Making a thesis and creating an outline go hand in hand. When you start outlining, you want to start by using your thesis and taking a look at the different evidences you've made to support your claim. You want to reorganize the evidences to put the most powerful evidence first. Once you've organized your evidences and put them in the correct order, what we're going to do now is kind of make each evidence into its own little box. What we're doing in this step is to give each evidence its own supporting details that'll help back up your points. So we can do that by using logic, stories, statistics, and examples. Writing an essay is a lot like winning a debate. You have to have the better argument to win. So if you're stuck at this point and you don't know what to do in terms of putting in logic, stories, statistics, or examples, try talking out your argument with somebody. Try to convince them to your side and see what sticks. Next, you have to make sure all of your evidences actually support your thesis. I know it sounds a little bit redundant at this point to say this, but a lot of times people are just so eager to use the sources that they've seen and that they've encountered, and they really want to put them in their essay, but they're not necessarily relevant. We need to make sure that it supports your thesis. Generally, it's a good rule of thumb to have around 3 or more main points to use throughout your paper. So, as an example of outlining, I'll only touch one of the points that I made in my thesis: chocolate. It's one of the reasons why chocolate milk is the best drink ever. So here are my reasons. Chocolate tastes good. Just another claim. Studies prove that chocolate cures boredom. We could use logic to prove that. Chocolate has changed Stacy's life. We could use a story to support our point. And 100% of people who like chocolate also like happiness. We can use statistics to also prove our point. Having a good harmonious balance of these different types of evidences gives you credibility and helps make your point stronger. You don't have to use all of them, but always think of what appeals best to your audience. This concludes the second part of Essay Writing Made Easy. If you have any questions about this section, please go ahead and post them in the student discussion board.